Hey, whether you like it or not, that's the exact strategy I used to build my first coaching business to $40,000 a month recurring revenue in only 4 months.
Hey guys, JJ Sarge here, and we're going to break down the strategy to get to 6 or 7 figures in your coaching business, even if you're brand new, even if you don't have a following. The first coaching business that I built, I got to $40,000 a month and basically didn't have a following at all. I had like 1,500 followers and there was no interaction on Instagram or anything like that. All the other accounts really had no interaction. So you can absolutely do this. If you want to build a 6-figure or 7-figure business, you can do it quickly. It doesn't need to take forever. So we're going to run through the 4 steps to doing that. And ultimately, you need to take ownership of your business and the strategies that you want to use. But I'm going to break down the 4 main steps and share with you what I prefer and what makes the most sense, but it comes down to the goal that you have. Obviously, I can't interact with you, but if you do have questions, put them in the comments below. Would love to be able to answer whatever I can. So when it comes down to it, step 1 on the journey of building a coaching business is locking in your offer. Now, an offer, a good offer, right? And this is why many businesses struggle. This is why, and I've done other videos on this, but this is why many coaching businesses struggle is because the offer is bland. It's just like everyone else out there. And if you have a bland offer, you're going to make everything else regarding, sales and follow-up and even helping people 100 times harder. So you want to create value. Value is perceived. This is why it's not even about price. Because if you have incredible value and that value is high, perception of a buyer, the value is high, you won't have trouble selling it and you won't have trouble, getting a higher price for what you're selling. Now, regarding the offer itself, it comes down to the transformation that you can deliver faster with less risk, right? More assurance. People are feeling more and more that they can trust that if they work with you, you will deliver the results, right? With less time required and less effort on their end. That is how you build value. So you want to lock in that offer first and foremost. A bad offer makes all these other steps more and more difficult. So the better the offer, the easier everything is. Again, you can check out other video I have on building an offer, how you actually do that, how you build value, and basically express the transformation that you will help someone create. From there, it comes down to leads. How are you going to generate leads? Another reason that many businesses, including coaching businesses, struggle is because there really is no plan of attack. Now, again, leads are far easier and far cheaper, in price, when the offer is better. Okay. Now, I'm not saying that you just want cheap leads. You do want quality, but I'm saying if you have a blasé offer, why would someone want to work with you? It's not as enticing. Okay. So when you are focused on getting leads, you need to have a clear strategy. There are people people you know of, people you don't yet know. And when it comes down to people you don't yet know, what is the strategy to reach them? Open mouth, open business. If your mouth is not open, your business is not open. And if people are not talking about your business or you're not out in front of them, maybe with paid social media ads or some other campaign, people don't know your business exists. Because we're talking about starting this without a following. If you're already famous and you already have millions or hundreds of thousands of people following you, this shouldn't be that difficult. If you're struggling and you have a following, I don't know what your deal is. But if you're looking to monetize, you have a story to tell. You know that you are called to impact people, but you need to learn how to or how to figure out how to get in front of people. That's what we're talking about. If you have a good offer, and you have a strategy in place for generating leads, then you move on to number 3, which would be convos, okay? Conversations. The reason for conversations is because since there is so much noise out there, and since you don't yet have a following, you need to build trust with people that would potentially buy from you. Okay. So what are the conversations looking like that you're going to have with your leads? If we're talking about coaching, we're not talking about necessarily rinky dink, a little $7 thing. Now, obviously that's where someone can start. You can have strategic items that would be, along the path of, upselling someone up the value ladder to work with you. Right. But you need to build trust with someone if you think they're going to spend $100 a month with maybe like a recurring revenue model, or two, three, four, five, 10, $20,000. You need to have conversations with them to build trust, because why would they trust you over someone else if they've never heard of you? Okay. Now, this is not to say it's not possible. My first coaching business, again, we were selling offers that were $9,800 to $19,800. And there were companies out there that, they've been doing it longer, they were bigger, but if you're building trust, you can absolutely do that. Now, I'm not necessarily saying high ticket is the best way, but that's just what we were doing at that time. And then from there, sales. Step 4, sales. What does this process look like? Okay. Along with that, how are you delivering the offer that you have? So when we really start breaking this down and we look at the offer, now, again, I'm not going to get into the building of an offer, but when we talk about the transformation that you are providing someone, you also need to figure out how you're delivering that offer. So what does that look like? Is that high ticket? Now, high ticket can be great because you have an instant revenue boost, right? Like if you're selling a $5,000 thing and you get $5,000 all up front, that's fantastic. However, if maybe you are running ads, paid ads to generate leads, which this video is really not about that, but that is my preferred strategy because it saves time. You can start, and just so we're on the same page, with paid advertising, you could start that as low as a couple bucks a day. But many, many times we have people starting at $5 a day in ads. Now, obviously, it's great if you can do more. Like if you could start at $50 a day, that's great. But you don't need to. So when someone says like, well, I can't run, social media ads, I can't run meta ads on Facebook and Instagram, I can't do that, I can't afford that. Many times it's because people are saying you have to start at $20 or $50 a day, and it's just not true. It's just not true. In many instances with what we're doing now, we're seeing leads coming in, qualified leads at $1. So even at $5 a day, you'd be getting, it could be a couple leads, it could be 5 leads, it could, whatever, with whatever you're focused on. Now, with the leads as well, you need some sort of strategic freebie that will attract them. But the question is, what will you be doing in terms of, like, if someone takes you up on your offer, they work their way up the value ladder, what is that offer that you're selling? What does that look like? How are you delivering that? Is that high ticket, or is that more of a monthly recurring revenue model, like a subscription model, which, and just so we're all clear, you can combine the two as well. So one of the best things, again, I told you, the first one we did was high ticket. One of the best things I believe is having some sort of strategic freebie. Like I said, I prefer a free community that houses content and resources that adds real value to your target audience. That's the key. You add value. You make it so good. And here's the thing, there's so much stuff out there that people have become numb to the stuff that worked 5 years ago. So if you're adding real value to people, meaning, and let's just say, you know what, maybe you want to help people in the fitness space or something like that, and you're providing, real value regarding workouts and meal plans and, things that they could actually implement, actionable steps that they could implement to build trust and start seeing some results, they instantly start seeing you as an authority. Most of the time, what people are afraid to do is add enough value because they say, well, if I add too much value for free, then why would they pay me? But the truth is, most of the time we're thinking of it backwards. If you just add a ton of value, they won't look to anyone else. But if you offer the same thing that everyone else is offering, here's just one little free download or something like that, like that's not as exciting, that's not as enticing, and it doesn't build as much trust. Okay. So let's kind of dive into this a little bit. If you have a free community, and this is what we do and what we do with our done for you clients, free community that houses actual resources. So you have resources in here that they can use, right? Actionable resources, not just stuff to learn, but actionable resources that help them start seeing results with whatever you coach. Okay. Then from there, we want to, and this is what I believe is the best thing, move them to a paid group. So you have a subscription in a group that then, and again, this is paid. You can start it lower, but what's the difference? If we're looking at actionable steps, then it becomes pretty common sense if the steps in here and the resources in here tag on to what you already gave them, right? So, for example, a subscription model could be, that maybe you're doing weekly calls with the group, answering their questions. Because, I mean, you got to think, if someone's serious about, in this example, getting in better shape, and you're going to give them, hey, here's 30 days of workouts to follow and a 30-day meal plan. And it could even be based on, different, types of eating or ways of eating. Like you could have one that's carnivore, one that's keto, one that's, like whatever you want to do. You could have recommended supplementation, whatever. The common sense action step after that would be, hey, rather than these generic ones that can work, what if we up the game with a custom plan for you? So you could do that when people join this, get a custom plan for them. Plus then, you're doing weekly stuff, weekly workouts, you're providing just more value that way. And say this is, $97 a month, something along those lines. You could even start it lower. You could even invite some of your closest people into it for free so that you have more people. Because no one wants to join a group with no one in it. If you have a group with one person, then adding one more person just kind of makes it weird and awkward. But as soon as you have like 3+ in here already, then people will start joining that. And then what you can even do is upsell from here even more, some form of, and it doesn't even have to be like high ticket, but you can build it however you want. It doesn't have to be, I'm meeting with these people multiple times a week, or I'm meeting with, each person once a week. It could just be unlimited communication on Slack, for example. So you can build this however you want. And that's what most people don't realize. And say you're going to do, like, hey, it's $97 a month. Or if you want unlimited communication with me where you can reach out to me with any questions that you have on, like, and I'll actually get it on my phone, video messages, audio messages, text messages, phone, whatever you want. Maybe that's like $297 a month. Or you could even make it easier, $75 a week. Which, by the way, $75 a week is actually more for you than $297 a month. It seems like it's the same. Well, there's 4 weeks in a month. There's actually more than 4 weeks. It's like 4.3, but that gets you like a couple hundred, a couple thousand, depending on what it is each year. And then something along these lines. Now, if If it's something that maybe someone won't want to work with you forever on, maybe it's like a 6-week thing, we're talking about that, then obviously, it'd be like a 6-week program, whatever. But if it's something along the lines of like life coaching or fitness stuff, lifestyle that you're helping them create, if you do a subscription like that, they'll never want to leave you. But that's how simple it is. Now it comes down to, how do we sell it? Well, that's where the conversations come into play. To go from free, you don't really need to have a conversation for someone to jump into free. Like if you're doing paid social media or organic strategies, you're doing reels and TikToks, and you have people clicking in your bio, or, obviously jumping into a forum, claiming something for free, joining a free community, that's fantastic. However, the next step from that is having the convos so that you can communicate with them and potentially have a call with them. So we have convo into a call, and you determine. I actually like Zoom because we tend to coach people obviously all across America, but also in English speaking countries. So Zoom, one, builds more trust because someone's actually seeing you. I mean, nowadays with AI, sure, you could be talking to a computer on the phone, but people can actually see you. But then also, it ends up being cheaper, less expensive if you're brand new than doing phone calls with people in other countries. So you want to do a call, and many times the first call is like a discovery call. But if you're doing like lower ticket or just a monthly recurring subscription, then that's basically a sales call. You're seeing, hey, is this a good fit? And if so, then let's take action. Let's do this. Here's the solution. So that's where this all comes into play. And then from there, you make the sale. Now, if it's a bigger ticket purchase, maybe like a done for you type program where you're looking at charging someone $250 a week, or $1,000 a week, or $1,000 a month, or whatever it is, then you look at this as a discovery call, see if it's a good fit. Talk briefly about, hey, here's a solution that I'm thinking may work for you. And if that makes sense, then you would book a second call, like a done for you. And this is actually like more of a strategy call. But that only makes sense if you're doing higher ticket stuff where it costs more. You shouldn't have to hop on multiple calls for someone to do, 30 a month, 50 a month, if someone's actually hungry. But that is the strategy. If you follow that strategy, so number one, locking in a solid offer. Number two, having a plan to get leads. Many businesses struggle because their only leads are occasional referrals, which is great. Referrals are awesome because trust is already established, right? But if that's all you have, it's most of the time inconsistent. Leads can be great, but for most people, they're inconsistent. Or referrals can be great, but for most of the people, they're too inconsistent. And then obviously having the conversations to make the sales. You need to have structure in place. You need to have a strategy in place for every single step here. That's how you win. So in other videos, we'll break down more and more of what these processes look like. But this is the 4-step strategy to building a 6 or 7 figure coaching business without a following.